All right, it's the last of these playoff Parkers pick the playoffs. But Michael, let me just gloat. I don't normally do that, but let me just
Okay.
gloat for a minute. At the beginning of the playoffs, and there's evidence of this. You can go back and watch the videos or listen to the podcast. At the beginning of the playoffs, I picked who I thought was going to win the state championship. 7 of the 8 are still in the mix. So this is not going to be that surprising who I pick.
Well,
I mean, I'm sorry for being so good at picking,
it sounds
but
like
all
you
my
could
teams.
have done better, though. Is
I mean,
what
I
this
could have
sounds
done
like.
better. 7 out
Could
of
have
8's
done better.
okay. I hold myself.
And at the currently you've picked zero correct.
I'll pick 0 correct yet, but I've got
Yeah.
7 games
You got
that
seven
if people have been
opportunities.
listening. They know who I'm going to pick because I've been riding with them the whole playoffs.
Nobody remembers. You're gonna have to like
Oh, I mean, people are intently waiting for this. So your picks are all over the damn place. So you're
yeah,
carrying us today because nobody can guess your
that's
picks.
right. I don't even know at the moment. It's like
But
when
we
I
do.
order at a restaurant. I need the waitress to come up and say, "All right, it's time," and then I pick something.
Well, that's what we're about to do. So hang in
Yep.
there. We're going to
Yep.
get that moment for you. But before we do, let me say it's been a bizarre playoffs, but with the lawsuits and the weird schedules and all that.
Right.
But it's really been, I think that may be taken away from the fact that there's some really, really good football been played. And then we're going to go in order for picking tonight of the order the games will be played. Okay. So we're not going to start in 6A or 5A or whatever. We'll start at 1A and go up. We're just going to go in the order that the games will be played. And the very first game is really one of the ones I'm not as confident in, but I'm going to stick to my pick. Bowden versus Lincoln County. This is single A Division II. This is the lowest classification in the state of Georgia. Bowden going for a four-peat. The only people who had a four-peat, West Rome a long time ago, Elka, and maybe Buford, but that's it. They're going for a four-peat. I said Bowden at the beginning of the year, and I said them again at the beginning of the playoffs. So I guess I'm going to say Bowden. But I'm going to tell you this. They're playing Lincoln County.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln County, the home of many, 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 many state championships. And Coach Larry Campbell, the winningest coach in Georgia high school football history. But, Coach Campbell, he's not going to be there Friday, or he's not going to be there Monday. But Coach Chomsky's is. And this is their first time playing for a state championship since they won the state championship in 2006, which was Coach Campbell's last state championship. I think of 11. 11, Michael. Yeah, 11. So his last of 11 state championships was in 2006. Been nearly 20 years. They haven't played in a championship since. Coach Chomsky's got them there. They've only given up 95 points in 14 games.
That's pretty good.
But Bowden is like a juggernaut. And I really want to pick Lincoln County because I feel like they're just building for this. But my pride for being right in my picks has overcome me. And I'm going in a very close game, maybe one of the best games of the whole thing. Bowden, sneaky close over Lincoln County. Who you got?
Well, just this is a lesson to the listeners of you can't let your pride get in the way of making the correct decision here. So I'm going against you with the team that gave up 95 points in 14 games and the Red Devils of Lincoln County over the Red Devils of Bowden.
Yeah, a lot of devils in the house.
Yeah.
One thing that always stands out to me, and I'm not joking, I'm actually being serious. Teams have struggled in the last many years that have been undefeated. No, I mean, not every single one. I mean, there have been some 15-0ers, but a lot of 14-0ers lose. And I think there is a psychology to a team that's lost, has that experience to hold on to. And when you're perfect, you just kind of keep chasing being perfect. And it can be hard if the ball doesn't bounce your way early and things like that. I don't know if that matters for Lincoln County. I'm just telling you, Bowden is lost. They played some bigger schools. They've lost this year. They're not undefeated for 4 years. They just have won the state championship 3 years in a row, and they're going for four. So
Which is a lot of pressure.
a lot of
I mean,
pressure.
I'm sure that
A
has
lot of
come up
pressure.
a lot, whether intentionally or not, there's a lot of people like you saying this. They're going for trying to win four state championships
They
in
got a
four
tight end
years.
going to Georgia. You know that big
Right.
old.
Pro throw.
He's won the state championship every year in high school.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
So
So
far.
so far, yeah. So first game we split. I've got Bowden. Michael's got Lincoln County, but I had Bowden at the beginning of the tournament, so I'm sticking with my pick. I'm loyal. Okay, I'm loyal. So
Good for you.
Coach Finley make me look good, so I can throw it in Michael's face. Um, the second game on Monday night, which is today, if people are listening to this on the day it's released, is going to be a battle. Creekside and Benedictine, 4A, Creekside Benedictine. Okay, now you say, I don't know if it's going to be a battle. Nobody's even played a close game with Creekside, but Benedictine can. And I actually expect Benedictine to play a close game. Creekside set a state record for points scored, Michael.
They're averaging 57.5 points a game
They set the 15 game record in 14
14
games.
games.
That's unbelievable. I don't know if people understand how impressive that is. Like, it's hard to break any of those kind of records. The most points ever scored. Okay, 400 something teams played football this year in GHSA. They've been doing it for 100 years. I mean, figure out how many teams that is. And you scored the most out of every one of them that's ever played. And you didn't even need the last game to do it.
Well,
They've already broken that record. If they get shut out, they're still the champs.
yeah.
The closest game they played all year was beating Rome by 20.
The first game of the year.
By 20.
And
By 20.
there was a game they scored 80. They went. Who did they play from Texas that beat them 70-0 last year? They returned the favor this year and beat them 70-0.
Yeah. Is it DeSoto?
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
I think, yeah, DeSoto, Texas.
Okay,
Look up Michael while I'm talking here, and I want you to look up and see how DeSoto did this year.
I'm pretty sure they were still playing last week.
I want you to figure that out because I know the answer. I want you to figure that out and see if DeSoto in Texas is good. Because Creekside beat them 70-28.
The answer to that question is yes. They're the number 2 team, it looks like, in Texas. 12-3.
Well, they're 12-3, but
They
they're playing for the state championship, right?
I think they played for it yesterday.
No, they're playing next week.
No.
But they beat South Lake Carroll. You know who South Lake Carroll
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the best 5 or 6 programs in the whole nation. They beat South Lake Carroll 57-44. Yesterday when we're doing this on Sunday, they beat them on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So DeSoto's good, right? I mean, that's like
Yeah.
a big class in Texas. Creekside
So are
beat
you picking
them
the upset here?
70-20. No, I'm not picking against Creekside. I picked them to win this whole thing, and I'm sticking to my picks. I've told you there's no drama here. The people who are dedicated to this already know who I'm going to pick. I'm picking Creekside. I'm just trying to give some context for the poor old Benedictine team that probably feels like nobody thinks they can win. And based on the numbers, it doesn't look good for Benedictine. But I am going to tell you this: Benedictine has some big time football players. Like, really, if anybody can beat them, it'd be them. Because they have some dudes on the D line. They have some guys everywhere. They're well coached. They played Colquitt County. They played Buford. They're used to this kind of ball. So I actually expect Benedictine to keep it close, but I am going to go Creekside for the Creekside with Coach Dixon has not won the state championship.
Right.
Been close a few times. But I'm going to go with Coach Dixon to finish the job here. State champs going down to South Fulton.
Yeah.
Creekside for the champs. You got the
I'm
ball.
going to agree with you. See, I know. Because remember, originally I picked Marist. I thought the lone team that could do this
Marist
to
could
them
just change the game.
could just
and beat
hold the
them
ball
down.
from them. Yeah. Just hold the ball from them, frustrate them.
And
And then
Benedictine beat Marist.
beat Marist. So, but no, I'm going with Creekside.
Yeah, I mean, I
They're
can't.
averaging 57 points a game. I can probably count on one hand the number of times we were in a game and 57 points was scored. And that's their
Yeah, we did
average
it a
for the
couple
year.
times, but
Yeah, it happened, but not, it wasn't our average
it
ever.
wasn't against a team that just beat South Lake Carroll. We
Right.
did not ever put up any points
But
against somebody that could
I
compete at
guess
that
of
level.
these two teams, Benedictine has the most points in a game scored this year. They did score 80 in a playoff game earlier against Central Carroll. So
Yeah, I mean, one thing we can say, and they scored
could be a
75
lot
on
of
Wayne
offense.
County and
Yeah, there
61
could
on
be a
Warner
lot of
Robins.
offense in this
I mean,
game.
they beat Warner Robins 61 to 0.
Who's a state championship team just a few years ago.
Listen, neither of these teams is scared to throw some points up on the board.
Yeah.
So we might see. I think Benedictine will hang with them. I really do. But if unless the game gets weird, Creekside just seems to be just, for lack of a better word, unstoppable. And I guess
Mhm.
Benedictine can prove us wrong. Because when that
Yeah.
happens, there's always it's still high school kids.
Yep.
And but I do think if let me put an asterisk on this, if Creekside wins this game handily, if there is an argument it's one of the best teams ever.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. If they win this game at all, there's an argument for that.
But I mean, like
But
I know they're not in the highest classification, third highest class. That's always kind
right.
of but I'm just telling you, man, they're not even playing a close game. And like I said, that beating DeSoto, which doesn't mean much to the people that don't really follow national. That's why I had
Right.
to look that up. But most people know
Well,
South Lake Carroll.
hmm
South Lake Carroll just lost this week to DeSoto in the semifinals. So yeah, it was a good football team. And that's the big class in Texas. You know what I mean?
right. Mhm.
Like they're 6A. So you're gonna be interesting to see. But we both got Creekside. That one we didn't split.
No.
And those are the games on Monday. On Tuesday, early game, Toombs County and Worth County. This is another one where I had Toombs at the beginning of the playoffs. So no secret, I'm rolling with Toombs. Worth County has been really good, unprecedented good since the early 90s anyway. Since the grunge days. They hadn't had a day like this. And so, Toombs County won it last year. A lot more experience there this, but Coach Hammond's team at Worth County 14-0 beat Pepperell last week 32-12 to move on to the state championship game. Toombs County coming in 13-1. They did lose to Rome, but Rome's really good and they're a single A school. Beat everybody else pretty handily actually, and I was really impressed with Toombs's 40-14 win over a good Heard County team. So I think Toombs is. I know I picked Toombs all along, so I'm picking them. But I think even if I hadn't done that, I'm picking Toombs here because they really seem to be peaking at the right time, uh, and they got that one loss. Sometimes that loss matters. I'm telling you, they can pull on that. 14-0 Worth County. They've just kind of hold on. They got to finish the job. I could see this being a good game, and I could definitely see Worth County winning. I mean, they got a great team. Scored 576 points. You can't hardly beat that. But I'm gonna go Toombs in a close one.
Hmm. Now I got to make my decision here.
But I'll give you a common opponent. Like they both played Thomasville. Okay, so Worth beat Thomasville 41-40. Thomasville's a good team.
Hmm.
Worth beat Thomasville 41-40. Okay, if you go in the playoffs, Toombs beat Thomasville 24-19. I mean, I'm saying like if you're looking at like a computer would,
Right.
these are very comparable teams.
Yeah, just for to make it good, good listening, I'm going to go Worth County. We
Do
can't get
you
we
even
can't
know
have too
where
many
Worth
things.
County is? Have we established that?
Sylvester.
Sylvester. Do you
Yeah.
even know where Sylvester is?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been through the downtown Sylvester? I'm assuming square, where I'm sure it's
Probably a
really
good
nice.
guess.
Um, but it's going to be partying now if they get this win. They're going to be throwing down in Sylvester.
Yeah.
So Toombs threw down last week or last year. I mean,
Yeah.
you know where Toombs is, right? That's by Vidalia.
I say I have driven in that
Vidalia.
general vicinity. It's on the way to Savannah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see that. That's gonna be a good one. I think what you'll see, Michael, is people come in. We get to the next games real quick. That's both the single A games we've already talked about, right? We talked about
Yeah.
Bowden and Lincoln, and now we're talking about Toombs County and Worth. I think what you'll find, and I went to the Alabama state championship games, and I watched some other ones. I think what you're gonna find in Georgia is those single A games Those double A game. When you get to that level is where you really see the difference in the teams. Like if you watch that, look, I watched Clay Chalkville and Saraland, which is in the
Hmm.
second highest class, which would be like our 5A in Alabama. Those dudes are good. Okay. And if you watch Thompson, obviously Thompson and Grayson played a 1 point game, right? In Alabama. I mean, if you go to Mississippi, you go to Tennessee, you go get some of the best teams, you're going to see that, yeah, I mean, it's pretty comparable, actually. But if you look at that single A game, I mean, it's going to be some playing in that Lincoln County Bowden game. It's going to be some serious ball played with Toombs County and Worth. And I think that's where you kind of see the difference in the depth in Georgia. So that's the early game on Tuesday. In the middle game on Tuesday, you got the 2A game, right? This is the third highest class, but the 2A game. And this is your boys, Michael. Let's see if you keep rolling with them.
You know I am.
Hapeville Charter. You got them right 2 times in a row, and I've got them
Mhm.
wrong 2 times in a row. And they're playing Carver Columbus, and I got some bad news for the listeners, and I let them down here. 2A was the only person I picked wrong.
Picked the wrong Carver.
Had Carver Atlanta. I meant Carver Columbus, I think. I think I meant Carver Columbus. I just said it wrong. But I picked Carver of Atlanta. They got knocked out by Sumter County. I really thought Sumter County would beat Hapeville and have a rematch with Carver Columbus. That did not happen. Hapeville went down to Americus
Hmm.
and won. And we had Coach Gordon on the radio show that night, and he was on the bus riding back. He was excited. I mean, it was good. It was a good time. And he's just like, why not us? He's like, they ought to be honored to play us. Talking about people ought to be honored to play Carver Glen. He said they ought to be honored to play us. I just liked his attitude. He tells his kids rubbed off. They play a tough schedule. You look at Hapeville's schedule. I
Hmm.
mean, these guys play tough schedule now. They're 6-4 in the regular season, but they play tough teams. So now they're playing Carver Columbus, who's undefeated. And I've been saying it's hard to go 15-0, but I don't
Well,
know.
and so you got two completely different. You got a first year coach, and then you got a coach and Coach Gordon, who's the only coach in Hateville ever. And what is it?
Yeah.
Maybe,
And they have
15
won the state
years,
championship.
and he has won a state championship. Um, I think he's got his guys in a good spot. They've been the underdog for
For
four
weeks.
weeks in a row. Since they won the first one, which was kind of unexpected, but ever since then they've been the underdog, and they played well to that. And I think they're going to do it one more time because this is, let's be honest, this is a de facto home game here. Hateville Charter and the Dome are only a couple miles apart. It isn't far,
So you got Hapeville.
so I'm taking Hateville, the upset for the third, fourth week in a row.
I actually think it's a good pick. And I actually think that the experience gap of the coaches, not a knock on Jarvis Jones, is a great coach, obviously proven to be a great coach already. But he hasn't finished that 15th game yet. And Coach Gordon has. He's been there many times. So I think it's a good pick actually. But I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't go with Hapeville. Carver has given up 50 points in the last 13 games. 50 in 13 games. Okay. That's not even four a game. I just can't get my head around Hapeville scoring enough points to beat them. Okay. I mean, there would have to be a lot of turnovers, a
I
lot
think
of
it's
issues.
I think it's just going to have to be a low scoring game. I
It's
mean, when
going
they
to be a
played
low scoring
Sumter,
game.
when they beat
But
Sumter, they won 8-7. I mean,
hey,
it's
listen, chalk me up, Coach Gordon, as another hater and another guy you guys are going to prove wrong. Play it through the field house if you need to. But I got Carver. But I don't know if I should say this because I'm gonna make everybody mad. But it's like I got Carver, but I'm pulling for Hateville. Is that fair
that
to
is odd.
say?
That is
Like I like the story of what they're doing, but Carver's defense has just been so good
yeah.
that I can't. I mean, they've only given up like 3 or 4 touchdowns. Seriously, I think they've given up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns since August 16th. That's unbelievable.
Doesn't sound like they have faced a lot of adversity. So
Now the one game was 8-7, but every other
yeah.
game hadn't even been close. So maybe if they can get it in a close game, if April can get them to turn the ball over, get in a close game, put some pressure on them, you got a chance. But I mean, there are some dominant teams this year in these levels. Like Creekside's been,
So Carver's they were the preseason number one team. and they're still in there. And I mean, that's like I said, that's impressive.
Yeah, it really is. All right, so you got Hateville, I got Carver, so we're split on that one. Last game on Tuesday night, the big one, which usually play on Wednesday, but swap because of the lawsuits and all. Buford, Carrollton, 6A. This could be a de facto national
Yeah,
championship.
both of them are ranked first in different polls, but
The winner will be deemed the national championship in some sort of poll.
mhm.
Maybe not a unanimous one. Grayson may have been a unanimous one. They were first over everybody. I rolled
But
Buford from the beginning. I called that Grayson would get upset by Carrollton. And then I said, even then, if you can go back and look, that I thought Carrollton would keep winning, but Buford would beat them. And you got,
you sticking with your pride here?
I'm sticking with my pride. Although Carrollton has proven to be, like, I've watched Carrollton the last couple of weeks. Like, I've
Hmm.
watched the game, actually, which I didn't get to do much when we started the playoffs. This Carroll team's freaking good, man.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm not going to be surprised if either of these teams win. I mean, why would you? These are two of the best programs in the whole state, all classes, not even close. Two of the best coaches, two of the best everything's, facilities, booster clubs, administrations, ninth grade teams. They probably got the best footballs of everybody in the state of Georgia. And it shows that that stuff matters too, because it does. And you got both of them are going to leave. Both of these programs are going to leave and be fine. Okay, let me just say, both of these programs, when the game's over, are fine. But one of them is going to be a little more fine, and the reason is you either have Buford winning that high class state championship. They never won. You know, Buford made
Hmm.
their name as being that small school, small city school, winning all them single A championships, then double A, then triple A, then 4A, right? And they got all the way to the second highest class, and they beat Langston Hughes and won a few games. The quarterback at Auburn that played against Alabama, he was the quarterback. They won two or three in a row when Coach App first got there. But that was in what we know now as 5A. They never won the highest class, never. In the last 2 or 3 years, they've been favored going into the season, and they haven't won it. Lost to Walton in the second round, lost to Carrollton in the third round. And they're going to finally do it. Or Carrollton, who has been to the state championship game many times. Okay? You look this up. Carrollton High School, with and without Coach King. I mean, obviously the last few with Coach King, who's done an unbelievable job there. Carrollton has not won a state championship since 1998. So while Buford's probably won 12 or 13 since 1998, Carrollton's won zero. But they've been in the state championship game in 2010. They were in the state championship game again in 2013. They were in the state championship again in 2022. They were in the state championship again in 2024. And definitely in 24, they expected to win.
Hmm.
I would also say in 2010, I was there and they lost Sandy Creek 14-7. And I think they expected to win. And in 2013, I know they expected to win. They lost to Griffin, and Griffin put on a show.
Hmm.
Are they going to get that monkey off their back, beat the mighty Buford? And they're going to be a little better. Both teams going to be all right. They're going to be a little more all right. Or is Buford finally get that 7A or 6A, whatever it is, the highest class championship? I mean, that's a really good story either way. And I think it's really a tough story for the loser to some degree, but I don't really want to talk about that. But I think it is something they'll have to deal with because both programs just so big and pressure. This is what high school football's kind of become, like a little mini college. And that's what both of them are doing, but running great programs. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. But man, this is a game I'm excited about. This is a game that's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be one of the best games in the country. And I think it has the potential to be one of the best games we've ever seen. Potential. If both teams play really well and it's close and all that. But I got Buford in a tight one.
Oh, Carrollton by double digits.
Double digits.
Yep. Carrollton's good, dude.
Buford don't have no players.
No, I didn't say that.
I mean,
They,
Carrollton
they,
is good.
Mhm.
Uh, but and I will say this: if you want to see what you want to see for Michael, Carrollton haven't really played a close game the last few weeks. They really, I mean, they got down. I think it was 14-0 at Grayson, and they
Mhm.
really stormed back. And since then, they've just stormed everything. They stormed
Yeah.
Norquinette. It
So
was
they
never
jumped
close.
out on North Gwinnett. It wasn't a close game.
Now, Valdosta, the final score was 39-7 with Buford,
Mm.
but that was an 11-7 game, and I think
Mhm.
going toward the fourth.
I was saying late in
Like
the
I think they
third. I
scored
know.
four touchdowns at the end
Yeah.
of the third and the fourth. So I know it was 11-7 late into the second half. So Valdosta, gave them more than they wanted, more than that score indicates. Is there a weakness there? I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess we're
I,
going to find out. I think
yeah,
both teams are really good. I really do.
I do too. I don't
I
think
think
many people at all picked Carrollton to get past Grayson.
just
Most
because
people
of the
were
talent, Grayson was so
no,
talented.
right, and they beat
Um,
that team
but remember the
pretty
1998.
handily.
Yeah, they did. They did, no doubt. But you know what makes the state champion? It's not, and this may be what both teams can use, but it's not always the best team.
Correct.
I mean, if we played 10 of these tournaments, Grayson may win the most of them. If we
Hmm.
play 10 of these tournaments, maybe Grayson wins five and Carrollton wins three and Buford wins two. I don't know, but we're not playing 10 of these tournaments. We're just playing one. And the one that's going to win this one is the one that can be consistent. So while, yes, Carrollton was phenomenal in that one game, and they were phenomenal last week against Norquinette, you only got to lay one egg and you're not the state
Yeah,
champ.
it's true.
And that's true for Buford too, by the way. I'm just saying that's what makes the tournament so hard because I think when you get into smaller classes, no offense to the smaller classes, but when you get into smaller classes, you can play poorly for a half, still maybe win, right? Like Creekside could have played horribly a couple weeks ago, could have just not played very well. They probably still won. But Grayson didn't get that opportunity. Like if they didn't play well, they're out. If Carrollton and Buford don't play well, they're out. The other one's going to win. And if they both play well, somebody's going to win. And I really hope they both play well because I think we kind of deserve a game like that. Like it'd be really cool to see that. On the heels of all the other junk that's off the field. Let's remind people that we got some of the best teams in the nation sitting right here and then battling each other to the end. So if I could only watch one game or attend one of these games, this would be it. Just for what it's worth.
Mhm.
Um, so we're split on that one too.
Yep.
Man, it's almost like we're just trying to make shit up so people listen. Um, all right. So that's
It's a lot
two.
of it's a lot of close games. I mean,
Well, I mean, honestly, everybody's good here, right?
mhm.
I mean, everybody's good.
I feel like we're gonna agree on some of these coming up. So,
Yeah, probably so. So on Wednesday, first game, Hebron Christian Calvary Day. Now I will say I had Hebron Christian from the beginning, so I got Hebron Christian. But Calvary Day's come on really strong. And last year, I had Prince Avenue the whole way. I had Prince Avenue the whole way. I had Prince Avenue on in the game like this time last year. I'm like Prince Avenue. I had them before the playoffs. I got them now. They're going to roll in there and beat Hebron, and they did not. Hebron with the win, really impressive. Um, can Calvary Day pull the kind of switch on them? I don't think so. Like I'm going Hebron, but Calvary Day is talented. They could play them tight.
yeah, I agree with that, but I still could am 100% on the side of Hebrew Christian. I think that they're just like I haven't seen a lot of these private school teams play, but I have seen them play, and they
Yeah,
were
they're
very
really good.
good.
They're really good.
They're very
And
good. They're really good players.
he turned over coaching staff. It's a new
Yeah,
coach staff,
Coach
which I think
Dallas.
actually helps them in this case because these guys haven't won the state championship with
Right.
those. Like a lot of those players have,
Yeah.
but those coaches haven't won with them. So like our friend Mike Davis, a great guy, was at Calhoun forever with Coach Lamb, and then went to be the head coach at Rabun County. He's the offensive coordinator there. I mean, he's won a bunch of state championships, but I haven't won with those kids. So like, there's a hunger there. Kenny Dallas, great dude. He's won the state championship at Trinity Christian. Hadn't won it there with those guys. So like, I think maybe because Guess isn't there anymore and they changed coaches, some of the guys like that's going to even lead to more of a hunger that may help them
Right.
because there's not that complacency of just we're going to win. We're going to win. There's that first year hunger for some of them. So yeah, I think Hebron wins this one. I would say by double digits. Coach Cameron first year got Calvary Day. Prove me wrong. Because I got no problem with Calvary Day. They've done nothing but excel. And I was really impressed with they dominated fellowship. I expect that game to be really close. And they jumped out early and just stayed on them. So I
Yep.
mean, it can be done. But we're both going Hebron there, right?
Hmm.
All right, next game, 3A, next to last game of the whole shebang. Sandy Creek in Jefferson. Jefferson was the number one seed when they did the power rankings. But that just shows them computers don't get it right because only a computer that didn't have an actual brain would have not had Sandy Creek as number one. I mean, they dominated the entire year, So I don't, I mean, Jefferson got a great team. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying they're the number one seed. And Sandy Creek, I thought was most people's like the AP poll number one team, right? Like the AJC number one team. So Jefferson's only losses to North Oconee. They did not play well that game. They played pretty well since. They dominated region play. They did play Oconee County close, and Oconee County always plays them close. And they
Hmm.
did play West Lawrence close last week, 17-13 win to get into the state championship. Sandy Creek is a little bit like Creekside, a little bit like Carver Columbus, and they ain't really played that many close games. You know, they played East Coweta. They beat East Coweta 28-21. But I'll remind you, in the very first game of the year on August 15th. But also remind you, East Coweta is a 6A school. They got double the students. Sandy Creek does like that. That winning by a touchdown is a big deal. A big deal. They're even in the game. They played LaGrange. They beat them 23-7.
Played them twice.
But then they played them again and they beat them
Yeah.
42-24 by 18. I mean, so beat them by 16 one time, by 18 the next. Like, are there common opponents here? Like, at any of the did Jefferson play anybody? Like, I want to say this is going to be a close game, and I think because of Coach Nolan, it will. Because Coach Nolan's a great job. He'll have those guys ready. They're going to be flying around. Jefferson's real physical. I mean, I think because of that, it is going to be a close game. But I think if you just look at talent, I mean, Sandy Creek really should win this. And I picked Sandy Creek at the beginning, so I'm rolling with Sandy Creek. But if there was going to be an upset, I could see this one being it. Jefferson lost in the state championship game last year. That kind of
Hmm.
stings. That kind of stings a lot. Same kids, same coaches. So these people did experience that, right? And that helped. Like they know how that felt last year when they lost in the state championship game, and I know that's been brought up many times. So yeah, I could see. It's really going to be about how the game starts. If Sandy Creek starts fast, it's going to be tough to win for Jefferson.
Yeah.
If Sandy Creek does not start fast and they can just kind of turn it into a dog fight and play in a phone
Yeah.
booth,
I think that's
and turn
definitely
it,
how they
I mean,
want to play this. Jefferson is going to want to slow this game down, make it not a high scoring game, would be my guess.
yeah, turn it
But
into a tractor pull, not a track meet.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna I just think Sandy Creek's gonna be a little bit too much. I do think this will be a very good game, even though I think that most people are leaning towards Sandy Creek, who I guess is the underdog of this. I don't They're
I
technically
don't
the
know.
lower ranked team,
I
but
don't know. I mean, I think this is one of the flaws with the power ranking thing is, I mean, you look at your eyes and say Sandy Creek should probably be the favorite.
right.
But Jefferson probably played some tougher non-region games. They beat
Yeah.
Marist. Jefferson beat
Yeah.
Marist, which was going to
Right.
be an ace in the hole for the
Yeah.
whole year. So yeah, both teams are really good. Screw them power rankings. Both teams are really good. I mean, you
They're
got one and
probably
one,
the top two
one
teams. I
A and
will
one
give you
B
that.
here. I
Right.
mean, yeah, and it's again, we're not going to play 10 games. But if we played 10 games of Jefferson versus Sandy Creek, wouldn't shock me if each team won five. But we're not playing 10 games. Who's going to play well this day and not turn the ball over and win the situations? And if Jefferson can do that and dictate the game, so if you're halfway through the second quarter, you're going to already know how this game's getting played. And both teams are going to have different styles, and one team's going to kind of dictate the style a little more than the other. And it's highly likely that that team's going to win. Um, On to the last game. Jesus Christ. in a in a season made for a 30 for 30 documentary, Gainesville is in the state championship. How about that, Michael? I mean,
Yep.
they beat Brunswick 42-0. There was a fight. People got suspended, then they got unsuspended, then they appealed, and so they had to wait. And They didn't play a quarterfinal game when everybody else played, and you just kind of had this feel when things like that happen. It does one of two things. It either becomes a massive distraction, and you go out and just lay an egg because they're playing Langston Hughes, who we knew was they were the number one seed if they had power rankings in.
Right.
They were number one in the state. And you thought it was either going to bury them, like they were just going to go out there and get dominated because they've been worried about this other stuff instead of football, or it's going to galvanize them. It's like the thing that everybody rallies around and becomes a thing. So we found out in the last 2 weeks because, I mean, they beat Langston Hughes and really controlled the whole game and really dominated a Rome team. I was really surprised watching that game. I was not surprised they won. I was surprised they dominated the game. And so Gainesville just really kind of us against them mentality is really powerful as a coach. And Coach Niblett's really tapped into that, and he's got some really good players.
Mm-hmm. And I was Gainesville has played a very tough schedule. I mean, they played Carrollton, who's still playing. They played Milton, who is the two-time defending champ. They played Roswell, who just lost to Thomas County Central in the Final Four. But I'm going Thomas County Central on this one. Like if you look at the one common opponent is Roswell, and Roswell came out on top against Gainesville in a real close game. And Roswell was up on Thomas County Central for a little while in that game, and then Thomas County Central came back and won
And
49-28.
Woodward was too. See,
Mhm.
Woodward was too.
I feel like Thomas County Central is a slow starting team.
Well, I don't know. I think they're kind of what I was talking about earlier when I say if you've been undefeated all year, you do end up kind of chasing it, and like it's hard to stay perfect, and you get behind, and you got to catch up, and whatever. I mean, but I don't know. See, you could look at that and say, man, this might be the time. You know, they struggled for a quarter against Woodward. They struggled for 2 quarters against Roswell. Are they going to struggle for 4 quarters this week? Well, I mean, Michael picked
I
them
don't
to
think
lose the
so.
first round. So
That's true.
I think whatever he says is just dumber than hell. But I picked Thomas Kane Central to win the whole thing from the beginning. So obviously I'm rolling with Thomas Kane Central. But I'm gonna tell you this. It is a powerful tool to have a feeling of 16, 17, 18-year-old young men who also happen to be super talented to feel like everybody's against them but us. And I don't even think that's true, by the way, guys. I actually think if people took a poll, you'd find most people don't like the GHSA and they don't like Gainesville or the GHSA. But if they had to pick, they might pick Gainesville. But I think Coach Niblett, he's a veteran, man. This guy's won the state championship a bunch of times. Not in Georgia, but he's won it. And they found a way to hone in on this like us against the world thing. And it wouldn't shock me if Gainesville had the ball and it was tied or they were down by a few, at the last possession. Like, and it was a damn battle. But Thomas Kane Central, the numbers say Thomas Kane Central should win.
Yeah.
Thomas Kane Central beat Roswell beat Gainesville. You know what I mean? Whatever.
I mean, they haven't hardly played a close game. They haven't been.
They haven't either. They're another one of those teams that's really.
They hadn't played a close game. The scores are.
Now I'll make a prediction. I'm picking Thomas Kane Central because I picked them at the beginning, and obviously when I picked them at the beginning, I had no freaking idea that Gainesville was going to get in a fight and get all that stuff. But I'll make a prediction. It's going to be a close game. Thomas Kane Central is going to play a close game.
Yeah.
I think Gainesville will come in with that chip on their shoulder. That I'm just telling you, that chip on your shoulder is so important when you have the young men to do it. Okay, so let me throw that out there. Like we get a chip on our shoulder out there at Pickens, we're not beating Thomas Kane Central. But if it was Pickens playing Gilmer, and both teams are really good for mountains, it did matter. Who had that little chip on their shoulder.
Right.
And I do think Gainesville has it. Like I do think they have it. And I do think they'll be ready. They're kind of another team that the lost state championship once with Coach Niblett to Langston Hughes on Coach's first year. That was about 3 or 4 years ago. but they lost the state championship in 2009. They went for two. Remember that? I
Hmm.
think they were playing. Let me. I don't say it's wrong.
That
Let
was
me.
like Blake Sims.
Yeah, they were playing Peach County, Blake Sims, and they go
Mhm.
for two. They scored, could have get the
That
field goal to
was
go to overtime. So
Joe
they go for two
Shaw.
in the win. And so I mean, they've had some heartache in the state championship game, but they won one. One. Gainesville is in the top three or four all time wins. You know that?
I did
All
not.
schools.
I mean,
Like Valdosta, I think it's LaGrange, and I think Gainesville, maybe after that. So Gainesville's won an enormous amount of games, but they've been playing football 100 years. But and they've always been pretty good. But they haven't won one state championship. 2012, Deshaun Watson.
mm,
So I could see them winning it. But I'm going Thomas County Central. Sticking with my picks. So my original picks: Buford, Thomas County Central, Creekside, Sandy Creek. I had Carver Atlanta, but I can't keep them, so I lost that one. I'll
change that
take Carver
Atlanta to a
Columbus.
Columbus.
Then I had Toombs, I had Bowden, and I had Hebron Christian. So we'll see how right I am. But both, all joking aside, congrats to all 16 of these teams. Really, really impressive. Because I'm telling you, some of the teams that lost in the quarterfinals, some that lost in the second round, were damn good. I mean, there's a lot of good teams not playing. So if you're playing this week, man, congratulations. What a season. What you got, Michael?
I just hope all of your teams lose so I can be right.
That's what he's on here for. Well,
Still, there's still some brotherly,
yeah, sure. Well, we gotta have some fun.
right.
Um, so we'll be back, after Christmas with some regular old podcast. No more picks. We'll be done with that. And back to some regular podcasts, letting some other people talk that might know a little more than us.
We could pick some basketball games or something.
No, we don't really need to pick anything. We really don't. We don't even really need to pick this. It's just for fun. But we'll see you next time.